Hey going guys, Dean here. I've got Shawn over with me today and we've got a 925 point battle report for you. It's a warm-up game for Icon, which is a tournament that's on this weekend, where it's a doubles tournament, so I'm only bringing one half of my team and he's bringing one half of his. And the only restrictions are that it must be a single combined arms detachment and spend no more than 5 community comp credits. So I'll run through my list and then I'll hand the camera over to Shawn and he'll go through his. So, as I said, combined arms detachment. In my HQ slot, I have a Cataphracti Captain. He has a Chain Fist and an Auspex. Then troops choices, I have 3 squads of Tactical Marines, single melter gun in each squad, and they all have drop pod dedicated transports. Then in my elites slot, I have, or is it heavy support? I can't remember. It's an Ironclad Dreadnought. Excuse the contemptor, he's just going to stand in for me. And it's got Seismic Hammer, Power Fist, Melter Gun, and 2 Hunter-Killer missiles. He also has a drop pod. And in my last slot, I have a squad of Devastators with 4 grav cannons in each, and they also have a drop pod. And so, obviously a drop pod spam style list. The tactic is to put the captain in with the Devastators, and that gives them slow and purposeful. So the turn that they come down in their drop pods, they can drop out and fire 20 grab shots. So that's my list. I'll hand the camera over to Shawn and he'll go through his.
Hey folks, Shawn from Menza Gaming here. Doing this 925 game with Dean Simbeck from Blood for the Blood God. Pretty excited. I think it's our first game we've ever played against each other, Dean, isn't it?
No, actually, one of my first games at EastCon was against you.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
yeah,
no, I remember that now. Yeah. No, that's
ago.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been a while, so
it's bit
of a refresher.
Long time.
Okay, so I'll take you through the winning list for today. Again, as Dean said, has to be a CAD. I'm running my Imperial Fist using a White Scars Chapter Tactics, and what we have here is three individual units of 5-man tactical squads with grav cannons in rhinos. I've got 2 Thunderfire cannons there for my heavy support. And then the mandatory Terminator unit up the front here, with my Warlord being my Librarian. And he rolled up, what did he roll up? He rolled up Iron Arm and Hemorrhage. So, top notch.
Top notch.
Alright, yeah, here we go. We're going to kick it off.
Alright guys, so this is the table we're going to be playing on. Beautiful table donated by District of Terror. So we've placed our objective markers. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. And we're just doing a standard Eternal War, 3 objectives, each worth 3 victory points at the end of the game. And then obviously your secondary objectives being Slay the Warlord, Linebreaker, and First Blood. We rolled Vanguard Strike for the deployment type, so it's table quarters, and we're going to get into our roll-off to see who gets the first turn. So let's do it, Shawn. So I rolled a 6, and you also rolled a 6.
That's my 6, big fella.
This game's going to be fucking intense. I rolled another 6, and you rolled a 5. Get some. All right, so I won the roll-off to go first, so we'll be right back after deployment.
Okay, so we've deployed up. It's all good. Dean won the roll-off to deploy. He deployed first, and then being the player that deployed first, he then elected for me to have first turn. This was my deployment. Roughly, I did in my first turn. I've already taken my first turn. In my first turn, I shimmied a few units around a little bit, and all the vehicles popped smoke. So, big turn.
Psychic phase?
Big turn. Psychic phase. So Dean's rolled 5 dice this game, and of the 5 dice, 4 have been 6s. I am keeping a tally.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No.
We went for Iron Arm, but I denied it.
Yep. Yeah, spot on. So, big events.
Mm-hmm. Epic turns.
Over to the World Eaters. World Eaters?
Yeah, World Eaters. Yeah.
Over to the World Eaters, turn 1. Okay, so we've deployed up. It's all good. Dean won the roll-off to deploy. He deployed first, and then being the player that deployed first, he then elected for me to have first turn. This was my deployment. Roughly, I did in my first turn. I've already taken my first turn. In my first turn, I shimmied a few units around a little bit, and all the vehicles popped smoke. So big turn.
Psychic phase.
Big turn. Psychic phase. So Dean's rolled 5 dice this game, and of the 5 dice, 4 have been 6s. I am keeping a tally.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No.
We went for Iron Arm, but I denied it.
Yep. Yeah, spot on. So, big events.
Mm-hmm. Epic turns.
Over to the World Eaters. World Eaters?
Yeah, World Eaters. Yeah.
Over to the World Eaters, turn 1.
Alrighty guys, here's the arrival of the first World Eaters drop pod. Direct hit. So that's the grav guns. And here we have the second drop pod containing the Ironclad Dreadnought. Another direct hit. And then the third drop pod is going to go right there on top of that objective marker. And another direct hit. Fucking loving it. And there we have the end of the World Eater's turn. So as you saw, the drop pods, none of them scattered. Brought in the Grav guys here. They fired and wiped out the Tech Marine. He elected to go to ground behind the ruin, so we had a 2-up cover save because he bolstered it and then went to ground.
Only on the Tech Marine.
But it was only on the Tech Marine. So I dropped the Thunderfire cannon with ease, and then it did 19 wounds with that unit, so he just couldn't save that many. Then we had the Ironclad drop down, fired both of his Hunter Killers and his Melter Gun into this Rhino, inflicted a single hull point and stunned it. But the guys inside passed their leadership, so they're fine. And then this tactical squad arrived, used their Melter Gun and blew up that Rhino. And then these 2 drop pods fired at the guys that were inside the Rhino. So that's first blood to me, and we'll jump into the Imperial Fists turn 2, sorry.
Turn 2. Okay, so the Dice Gods, definitely not my friends this weekend. It's not the weekend, is it?
It's fucking Monday, man. No, it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday night.
Oh, God.
It's Tuesday night. So, didn't manage to put a single glance, fired a bunch of grav into this beastie here. Didn't manage to immobilize it. We did take out this drop pod here, I believe, Dean?
Yep.
That one's been taken out.
Yep.
And then we performed a very epic multi-assault by chaining these tacticals here. We then multi-assaulted that squad and put some put some guys into the drop pod. Only just managed to kill the 5 Marines.
Yeah.
I think I actually dealt 5 wounds.
Yeah, with how many Lightning Claws and how many Thunder Hammers? And
2 Lightning Claws.
Oh,
3.
the Libby didn't attack though, so he would have.
No, he attacked.
Wait, he did because he
finished it.
Yeah, that's right.
So pretty bad dice tonight.
And then the Thunderfire, you can't glaze over that. That was epic.
The Thunderfire scattered 5 inches in the wrong direction, and then proceeded to scatter in the wrong direction every time after that.
So it fired at him, scattered to here, and then every one of the barrage shots. Scattered.
So I'm feeling pretty good at the moment. I think this game's in the bag.
Oh yeah, you confident?
The winning team will stay vigilant. We did have an interesting thing come up though, which Dan and I were just discussing in regards to if you're locked into a multiple combat. You perform a multi-assault. I've wiped out a unit, but I am still in combat with a vehicle. And there's an interesting bit of, in the rules there, it says that if the vehicle loses or is destroyed, nothing happens.
Yeah. So the question is, does he get a consolidate move?
Knowing that I killed a unit.
Yeah, knowing that he killed a unit, even though he's still engaged with that drop pod. So, yeah. Let us know what you think about that one in the comments.
Interesting. All right, on to the World Eaters turn 2. 3. I've only had 2 turns.
2. Sorry, 2.
World Eaters turn 2. Here it comes.
Howdy guys, so we have the end of my turn 2. So I had 1 drop pod arrive from reserves. He came down here. I placed him on that objective, but he just scattered to a point where he wasn't holding it. And being that this is an eternal war, I really wanted to hold that objective. So I just deployed the Tactical Marines at the back here and jumped on that objective. I also used their run move to spread him out because he has got that Thunderfire cannon. But that wasn't the interesting part of this turn. The interesting part was over here. I had an Ironclad Dreadnought. He ran forward, he fired his Melter Gun at this Rhino, hoping to blow it up and munch on the Marines inside, but he missed. And then he declared a charge, and with the overwatch from the single Grav gun inside...
Did you just say Grav cunt?
Grav cannon. Fucking Grav cunt. Inside. He was destroyed. So he got rolling 6s on 6s. He rolled 2 6s to hit. Both of those were 6s again, giving it 2 immobilized results, which in turn destroyed it because it takes an additional hull point for having multiple immobilized. So that's the Ironclad dead. So that's really disheartening. But it was about time the luck turned in Shawn's favour, so we'll get into his turn now and we'll be right back. Okay, so we've seen a bit of a change of fates here in the last couple of turns. It's been interesting. It's been very satisfying. It's the power of positive thinking. Yep. Well, you were confident.
So what have I done? I've tried to bunker up my Thunderfire cannon over here a little bit to the best of my abilities. I've moved everything forward a little bit more. Thunderfire actually did some work this turn, managed to kill 1 Grav cannon.
A Grav cannon and the sergeant from the squad.
Ablative wound as well, which is good. And then the Terminates, I'm just trying to rim range him here a little bit, just to make sure I stay out of that Grav range. They will have to take a move through cover to get down off that cliff, but I don't want him to roll hot and find me within 24 inches. So Pretty standard turn. Not going to reveal my cunning strategy, but the winning team has finished their turn.
Alrighty guys, so there we have the end of my turn. So the grav cannons moved down and then ran across this way, which will now protect them because nothing will be able to draw a line of sight. So the only thing that's firing at them is the Thunderfire. Then we had this drop pod arrived. Marines dropped out here and blew up the Rhino, killing 2 of the guys inside with the explosion. And then this Stormbolter from the drop pod fired at those Marines and did 2 wounds, but they passed both of their saves. So that's the end of my turn.
That's not like me.
Yeah, your dice are turning around on you, but don't worry, they'll swing back my way.
Tell me about it. Dun 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 dun.
Fucking idiot.
So here we have the end of the white scars, because they are white scars. Turn 3.
Correct.
Turn 3. So we're moving to turn 4. Got some value out of the Thunderfire cannon there again. Just keeps on barraging out those, just sniping out those grav cannons. And then just playing a little bit of shenanigans here. I've moved up these this big Terminator blob here in the middle, the big stars. Just move there, try and inhibit Dean's line of sight when he brings these grav cannons around. But I've also given him another threat of my own grav cannons sitting behind these bolstered trees. Those trees are looking very sturdy, and they're gonna cause havoc for Dean. So just did a little bit of damage down here. Didn't get much value. This little chump here got no wounds with the grav cannon.
Mm-hmm.
So a bit disappointed with him. I might have to remodel him. That's over to the World Eaters. World Eater Ultras.
Ultramarine chapter tactics.
Ultra World Marine Eaters.
Sure.
Turn 3. Give me a sec. Okay, so we just wrapped up the White Scars turn 4 there. Bit of a lackluster turn. Didn't really manage to do anything. Did I kill a model? I did. I did actually kill the drop pod over here with my grav unit that's sitting there. I've just realised retrospectively I've left them a bit exposed to Dean's grav cannons if they choose to move forward, but I have now started to assert threat with these units that are now making themselves known. Did get a wound on the Cata Captain there. Thunderfire letting itself down yet again.
You should touch on that pivot manoeuvre you did. I think people will find that interesting. I certainly.
People find what interesting?
Alright, let me show you. So guys, so what we did is I positioned myself in a way that my grav cannons had range on the hull of his Rhino, but he firing from the hatch, so he didn't have range on me. And I thought I was super fucking smart because he's not going to be able to shoot me, but I'm going to be able to shoot him. But then all he did in his turn was pivot, which then moved the hatch from the back to the front, which allowed him to fire his grav cannons at me. So that's a sneaky little trick for you, because your opponent probably won't see that coming.
Shawn had that in his playbook for a while. It's been in there for about a year.
I've been working on that play for at least the last 18 months.
It's good. It's very good.
Just working out how to maximise the efficiency of my rhinos.
Any reason for that, Shawn? Just enjoying.
Just to keep you thinking, Jess. Just to keep the little cogs in your head whirring.
Yeah.
Now you're wondering what other plays I've got up my sleeve. Don't worry, in another 18 months you'll find out. Over to World Eaters turn 4.
Alrighty guys, so this is the bottom of turn 5, so knowing that it could be the last turn, I've moved my Devastator squad with the captain up onto objective number 3, so I currently hold 3 and 1, whereas Shawn holds number 2. They then fired everything they had, so did the 2 drop pods all into that Terminator unit, and I managed to drop 2 of them. And we got special guest, Jeremy's here, and he's going to roll the dice to see whether the game ends. So 1 or a 2, it's a World Eaters victory. It's got some stinky armpit luck on it. Fuck. Alright, this isn't good. We'll be back after turn 6. Land there, and the Marines move forward.
Dun 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 dun.
You fucking idiot.
Special guest Jeremy Martino sound effects, courtesy of JM Gaming.
That's all the...
JMC Gaming.
Yeah, watch your space, guys.
JMC. Guess what the C means? He's not going to say it. An eventful turn for the Imperial Fist Scars, the Imperial Scars. Dean unfortunately found himself, he made a big play to get on that objective, looking for that 33% chance to just win the game. I misjudged the turn count. That happens when you play casually, I guess. He went for it as he had to. He made the right choice. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off for him, and then he found himself in this like crossfire of grav cannons, which were just everywhere, and unfortunately the whole unit, including the counter captain, got obliterated. I've now run to the objective there, and we're now waiting for Dean's turn 6.
Correct.
Back after this.